demo here is this one called Retro Lines, and it's kind of cool. We're going to learn how to create some Illustrator brushes and then kind of being able to manipulate things front and back. So it's a little funky because you have to do something you wouldn't think to, but because the way Illustrator works brushes and the way the brush functions, we got to make these lines a certain way. So I'm just going to cheat. I dragged and dropped my Retro Lines image in here, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a rectangle, and I'm just going to make a rectangle the same width as one of these and get it as close as you can, okay? What you want it to have is a black fill and no stroke. So I feel like I'm close enough there, all right? Now, I need 11 lines, all right? But what I need to do is I actually need to put a white line in between each, and that's because of the way the brush works, okay, when I make a brush out of this. So I'm going to hold the Option key, and I'm going to drag this until it snaps right up against there, okay? Then I'm going to hold the Command D until I have 21 total lines. So I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. All right, I got 21 separate boxes. I'm zooming in a little bit. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab every other box. So here's this one, and I'm going to hold the Shift key and grab the next, every other. So every other box I'm going to grab. All right, and you'll see what I'm doing in a second. Let me just get all these grabbed. Okay, and I'm going to take these, and again, it seems a little counterproductive, but I'm going to fill these with white. All right, so you should end up with something looking, oops, sorry, not the stroke. Fill with white. You should end up something like that. And you'll see that I have my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 lines. All right? So now I've got my 11 lines. I need to make a brush out of this. So I'm going to pull up my brush panel. If you don't see a brush panel here, Window, Brushes, okay? And I'm going to grab this and I'm going to drag it right into the brush panel. I want it to be an art brush, and I want to hit OK. And the only other setting I want to change this, I'm going to name it Lines, is you want to make sure that it's traveling this way from bottom to top. Okay, so you switch that line, then you hit OK. All right, I can delete this off of here. Now I need sections to create this. Okay, and you're going to create a puzzle. This is all you're going to do. I'm going to click the pen tool right about here, and I'm going to hold the Shift key so it snaps straight, and I'm going to make a line. Okay, now no fill on that line, no stroke, and I'm going to click my brush so that it creates my first piece, which is my box here. All right, now I'm going to create an ellipse. And depending on, we want this ellipse with a tight circle in the center. So I'm just going to create my ellipse. And again, no fill, no stroke. And I'm going to apply the brush to it. And you'll see that if I scale this, hold the Shift key, that hole in the center gets huge. And I don't really want that. So for this particular piece, I'm just going to get this down to about the size. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but close enough is close enough. Okay? So I feel good about that. So I've got a straight piece, okay? Now I have a circle. What I want to do is I want to duplicate this. I'm going to hold the Option key and I'm going to drag this over for a second. I'm going to drag it over again. Here, I want to take my Direct Selection tool and I'm going to zoom in here so you can see it. With my Direct Selection tool, I'm going to grab just this point and I'm going to delete. Now I have a half circle, okay? Then I'm going to go to this next one. All right, and I'm going to grab my Direct Selection tool because we only, as far as Illustrator is concerned, the line is this. The rest of this is a brush. All right, now I'm going to grab this one, and I'm going to grab a corner one, 2 of these, and I'm going to delete. Okay, and I create this quarter piece. Okay, now the last piece is sort of the 3/4 piece. All right, and what you're going to do there is you're actually going to create this. You're going to grab the scissors tool, and here's one point, and here's another point. Halfway between those 2 points, you're going to click. That makes a cut. You're going to grab your Direct Selection tool, you're going to click that and delete it, and you're going to click the end one and delete it, and you end up with a 3/4 piece, okay? So now I have all the pieces I need to put this thing together, all right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start piecing it together. So I'm going to start with this piece over here, and I'm going to copy this. Just hold an Option key, and I'm going to drag it down here. What you'll see really quickly is that if I make this whole thing and I need to adjust it afterwards, I can, all right, because everything is sort of movable. So now I'm going to drag this over here. I'm going to hold the Shift key, get my little corner, and I'm going to rotate this, tip, tip, okay? One more time. All right, so that I get this here, all right? And I'm going right here. Now when I line this up, it'll snap right to it, all right? And you can zoom in a little bit if you need to kind of play with it, but you'll notice that that corner line will line up right there, and they'll intersect, and boom. All right, which is really kind of nice because you can move this around. If it doesn't line up, you can move it around. Whoop, one too many zooms. All right. So now I'm going to take this one and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to copy and paste, and I'm going to rotate 90 degrees. All right. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to line this right here. Okay. And I have to bump it with my keyboard a little bit, all right? So I've made that long area there. Now I'm gonna keep going, I'm gonna go around here. So I have that piece and I need one more. Now you will need to adjust the length of these, you'll see afterwards as you're working on it, all right? And again, I'm gonna bump this over. And then I need the 3/4 one. So I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna copy and paste again, and I'm gonna line this up, all right? And this one I always have to line up a little bit differently, all right? And so again, here's my keyboard, drop it down, it snaps up, all right? Now I need the half here, so I'm going to grab my half and copy and paste, and I'm going to rotate. Of course, you can always go to Object, Rotate, and rotate 90 degrees, 180 degrees, whatever you need, all right? And now this, I'm going to line up right with this. Of course, my coordinates are getting in the way, all right? And you're seeing that it's starting to come together. Now, the only problem I have is a lot of times this thing starts to mess with my eyes, but, all right? And I can bump it with my keyboard if I need to. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. My coordinates are bumping me off here, all right? You're looking at trying to match halfway with the halfway point and snap it in. All right, get over there. There we go, keyboard. All right. So now I've got that. Okay, and you can see how I'm coming through here, okay? And you can obviously, if I wanted this in front of this piece here, I could grab this piece and I could arrange and I can bring to front. So you can switch, what's in front, and that's how you create that sort of weaved look. And now I take this, and again, I copy and paste, and I drag it down here, and I line it up, all right? And I overlapped a little too much. All right. And again, sometimes you zoom in, it'll help your guides really kind of follow through. There we go. All right, you can see I'm just kind of moving in and out here. All right, now same thing, halfway point. All right, you kind of get the idea. All right, I'm not going to go all the way through, but if you look at this space, see how this space is much wider? I can simply take this and I can just take my keyboard keys and I can move it over. I can say, all right, that's where I need to be. Now I'm going to take this and I can just shorten it, okay, and line it up with the end of this piece, and then tuck this over with the keyboard. But it's all movable because, again, it's vector based and it's a brush, so you can kind of slide everything. Now I did notice that this kind of connection isn't great. So again, it's moving. You scale this, as long as you turn off your stroke scales and effects, you're good to go, okay? And you can see how I can adjust that. So that's what you're going to do until you create that pattern, all right?